Have you ever stopped to think why so many people feel financially suffocated, unable to breathe, even while working hard every single day? It's as if money is never enough, always slipping through their fingers. That endless treadmill feeling, where you run but never move forward, is what traps millions of people. But there is a turning point, a number that separates those stuck in the cycle of scarcity from those who finally begin to glimpse financial freedom on the horizon. And that number is not as big as you might think. It's not about having $1 million or even 100,000 saved in the bank. The key lies in reaching something that seems modest but changes everything: $10,000. That's the milestone where the gears of your financial life start turning at a completely different speed. Before reaching this number, every decision is driven by urgency. You accept bad jobs just to pay the bills, even though you hate what you do. You buy the cheapest option, even if it breaks quickly, because you can't afford to think long-term. You give up opportunities for education, travel, or even rest, because everything feels like too big a risk. This is what I call survival mode, when your brain is focused only on putting out fires and securing the next meal. In this state, there's no mental energy left to plan, dream, or take risks. But once you finally reach $10,000, something shifts deeply in your mind. Suddenly, you are no longer a hostage to urgency. For many, that amount represents 4 to 7 months of basic expenses. It's both a psychological barrier and a practical one. With $10,000 saved, you know you can face unexpected events without falling into despair. You no longer need to cling to the first paycheck that comes along, and you don't have to say yes to things you hate just to survive. From this point on, you gain the power of choice. And freedom of choice is the real luxury money can buy. When that happens, your brain shifts from scarcity mode to abundance mode. You start thinking about multiplying, investing, growing. It's like pushing a heavy rock uphill for years, and then suddenly, it starts rolling down on its own, this time with gravity working in your favor. Imagine for a moment the peace of opening your banking app and knowing that no matter what happens tomorrow, you're safe for the next few months. That feeling isn't luxury, it's freedom. The moment you hit $10,000 in savings, you stop living paycheck to paycheck. It's like stepping out of a minefield, where every step could be a disaster, and finally walking on solid ground. That sense of security changes your choices, changes your relationship with work, and even changes how you see life itself. It's no exaggeration to say that $10,000 acts as a dividing line. Before it, your mind is ruled by fear. After it, you begin to notice opportunities that were once invisible. What's interesting is that most people believe they need far more to feel this shift. They think only with 100,000, $500,000, or even $1 million they could finally breathe. This flawed mentality is a trap that keeps most stuck in the rat race, waiting for a distant future that never comes. The truth is, you don't need to be rich to feel safe. You just need to cross the first threshold. And that threshold is much more accessible than it seems. That's why so many people who reach $10,000 describe it as a mental click, a sudden shift that changes the way they see money forever. This click doesn't happen just because you see more digits on your bank statement. It happens because your mind finally realizes you have control. With $10,000, you understand that you can turn down bad offers, invest with patience, and wait for something better. You realize that your life no longer depends on scraps, because you have a safety cushion backing you up. This awareness releases mental and emotional energy. It stops being only about survival and starts being about living. The change is invisible to outsiders, but anyone who's been through it knows. Life starts to move at a different rhythm, as if time itself finally began working in your favor. When you have no savings at all, every unexpected expense feels like a catastrophe. A burned-out light bulb, an emergency doctor's appointment, even a flat tire can trigger overwhelming anxiety. This is the reality many people live in every day, on the edge, with no room for surprises. But once you save $10,000, those same setbacks stop being terrifying monsters and turn into nothing more than life's small inconveniences. You pay, you fix it, and you move on. That simple shift already eliminates a huge part of the financial stress that drains your energy. What used to be chaos now becomes just routine, and that peace of mind changes everything. Not just in your wallet, but more importantly, in your mindset. The real turning point happens because money stops being only a problem and becomes a tool. With $10,000 saved, you can invest in knowledge, consider starting a small business, or even take a job that pays less in the short term but offers much greater potential for the future. That freedom of choice is what separates those who move forward in life from those who stay stuck in the same place. Before $10,000, you're being pushed around by circumstances. After $10,000, you start choosing your own direction. And choice is the greatest power anyone can have when it comes to money. Another powerful point is that once you reach this number, the effect of compound interest starts to become visible. Investing $10,000 in something that yields 12% a year, for example, will generate $1,200 in 12 months. Does that sound small? Not when you compare it to someone with just $100 invested, which would only make $12 in the same period. This is where math finally begins to work in your favor. You realize that financial growth is no longer a distant illusion. It becomes something tangible. Your money starts working for you. And this is one of the most defining moments on your journey toward financial freedom. Before we continue, let me ask you something real quick. If this content has made sense to you so far, make sure to hit that like button. It tells YouTube that this video matters and helps it reach more people. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the time. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos that will help you truly transform your financial life. The most surprising part of reaching $10,000 isn't just the sense of security. It's the identity shift it creates. You stop seeing yourself as someone always in debt or constantly vulnerable, and you start viewing yourself as someone capable of building wealth. That change in self-image is powerful. People who once saw themselves as survivors begin to see themselves as investors, as builders of their own future. Money stops being just a number in your account and becomes a reflection of your discipline, your choices, and your long-term vision. And this new identity is the fuel that keeps you moving forward, even when challenges appear. This new perspective also changes your relationship with time. When you have nothing saved, every day feels like a life or death battle, as if tomorrow is always a threat. But with $10,000 as a cushion, you start to look months ahead. You begin thinking in terms of 6-month plans, 1-year plans, even 5-year goals. That leap in perspective opens the door to bigger projects. You no longer think only about paying the light bill. You start thinking about investing in something that could multiply your wealth. It's like stepping out of a dark room and suddenly finding an open window, seeing a horizon that once felt impossible. And this is the moment you realize that wealth isn't just about how much money you have, but about how many options are available to you. Before, your choices were limited and always forced. After $10,000, you gain the power to say no without fear, to wait for the right opportunity and to build with patience. That kind of freedom cannot be measured only in dollars. It translates into quality of life, mental health, and peace of mind. This is where the real transformation takes place, not in your bank statement, but in the way you begin to live every single day. Reaching $10,000 is like opening the first door in a hallway full of possibilities. From that moment on, you understand that if you were capable of building that amount, you can also reach 50,000, 100,000, or even the dream of $1 million. What once felt impossible now becomes only a matter of time, discipline, and strategy. This first milestone proves to yourself that it's possible, and once your mind accepts that it's possible, nothing can stop your progress. The greatest victory is not just financial, it's psychological. You stop being someone who doubts and start becoming someone who believes. This moment also brings a new kind of responsibility. With $10,000 saved, you can no longer think like someone living paycheck to paycheck. Now you need to learn how to invest, protect what you've built, and make conscious decisions. This is where the game of financial education truly begins. And it doesn't matter if it took you months or years to reach this number. What matters is that you got there. The next step is no longer about running desperately after money, but about making money run for you. This is where the real journey of multiplication begins. And maybe this is the most important lesson. Never underestimate the power of your first $10,000. They won't make you rich overnight, but they will completely transform how you see money and how you see yourself. They represent freedom, security, and the start of a solid path toward wealth. If you haven't reached this milestone yet, create your plan and start today. And if you already have, share in the comments how it changed your life. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next one, because here we go far beyond money. We talk about freedom,